Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today's video is all about Bristol City. Obviously Lee Johnson was sacked and now they're looking for a replacement. I'm going to discuss who that replacement could be, so let's get into the video. So yeah, Bristol City part ways with Lee Johnson. Can you believe it's been 4 years since he got the job? He became the third longest serving manager in the Football League during that time, and it's been a successful period for him at the club. Year on year they've improved their league position. They got up to 8th last season with an outside chance of the playoffs on the final day. Unfortunately they didn't quite make it, but you can see the progress they've made, and as with any good manager, he has left the club in a much better state than when he found it. Of course, his most famous night will probably be remembered as that Manchester United win at Ashton Gate, where Bristol City reached the semi-finals of the League Cup. That was a hell of an achievement, wasn't it? But it was just one streak too many for Streaky Johnson, I think. No wins in their last 9, 4 defeats since the restart, and that wasn't good enough. Bristol City have seen a playoff place slip through their fingers. They won't get promoted now this year, and they've decided to make a change. But you've got to remember, it's been brilliant from Lee Johnson over the last few years. He's taken the club on an upward trajectory, and credit to him, really, you've got to say. But now Bristol City are looking for a new manager, so let's discuss who that could be. And first up, and favourite for the job at the time of the recording, is this man behind me, Ryan Lowe at Plymouth. And he's only been a manager for 2 years, but what a 2 years it's been, you've got to say. 2 seasons in League Two, 2 promotions. First off, his debut season as a manager couldn't be more turbulent, really, could it? I mean, he was at Bury, he got them promoted under horrific circumstances. At the end of the season, if you don't know, the players weren't being played, staff weren't being paid, he wasn't being paid, no one was being paid, turmoil off the field, but he got them over the line. He finished second with them in League Two. Obviously, disappointingly, that promotion didn't count for anything, and the club are now out the Football League, of course. From there, he moved to Plymouth, and you've got to say he achieved what he wanted to do at the start of the season, promotion back to League One for the Pilgrims. And if you don't know much about Ryan Lowe and his system, he likes to play a 5-3-2 most of the time. It's very intense, it's very pressing, it's very exciting to watch. And you've got to say, when compared to Bristol City and what they've done this season, I think Bristol City played their best stuff when they were playing 5 at the back or 3 at the back. And I think that's worth considering for the board. I mean, if they want to continue in that style with the players they've got, it seems to suit them a bit better. Lowe's definitely worth considering. He can get the best out of that group of players. However, the negatives with Ryan Lowe, obviously he's not had any experience above League Two, not even in League One. Will Bristol City want to take a risk on a manager who might not have the experience at higher levels? I'm not too sure. It would be an exciting appointment for them. And the good thing is, Bristol City, they definitely would be able to tempt Ryan Lowe with the wage they'd be able to offer, with the project, a championship job. I don't think Lowe would be able to turn that down, to be honest. But it's going to be a risk for Bristol City, but it'll be very exciting if they do appoint him. From a manager with no championship experience to a manager with bucket loads of championship experience, next up is Chris Hughton, and he's going to have a number of clubs after him this summer, in my opinion. Look at what he has done in the Championship before. He's got Brighton promoted, he won the league with Newcastle, he got Norwich promoted. His CV speaks for itself, doesn't it? I mean, does he deserve another go at a Championship club? I'm not too sure. I think the only negative with Chris Hughton is that he might be holding out for a Premier League job. He proved he could do it in the Premier League very recently. He kept Brighton in the division. He got Norwich to finish 11th when he was the Premier League manager there. And he's shown he can do it at a higher level. But I think if a Championship club can get him, and I think he might be interested in Bristol City, it would be a hell of a coup for them. The only thing Bristol City have is they have competition from Birmingham, who I think would also like to have him as manager. So it depends what Hughton wants. Obviously, there's no compensation for him at the moment. He's out of work. And I think there'll be a lot of clubs after him this summer. He'll be a Championship or Premier League manager over the next couple of weeks, I think, rather than months. He'll be back in work in no time, and it'll be great to have him back in the Championship. He's shown what he can do before, and if Bristol City can get him, I'd back them to get promoted next season. So those two are the top 2 in the running at the moment, clear favourites, both of them. But now we move on to Mark Robins at Coventry, and as a Coventry fan, I know what he is all about. He's taken us from League Two to the Championship in 3 seasons. Obviously, the season got finished early in League One, but we deserved promotion, and he was the biggest part of it. He has been incredible. He's turned the whole club around. But the one reservation I'd have if I was Bristol City about Mark Robins is that look at what he's done elsewhere. It's not been successful. He didn't have a good spell at Huddersfield. That was when they were in the Championship after leaving Coventry for them the first time around. Then he went to Scunthorpe and that didn't go that well either. So it is a risk if Bristol City appoint Robins. I think he deserves a chance in the Championship, but of course I think he might view this as a bit of a sideways move. He's got credit in the bank at Coventry. He'll be given time. He'll have the whole season in charge, in my opinion. Whether he'd get that at Bristol City, I'm not too sure. He'd have a bigger budget, of course. He's got better players at Bristol City if he takes the job, and he'd be getting paid a lot more. And of course, the elephant in the room is Bristol City have got their own ground. It provides a lot of stability for a manager. It doesn't even need mentioning, doesn't it, that Coventry don't have that at the moment. So maybe he'd been tempted, but I see it as a bit of a sideways move for him, and I don't think they'll be able to do it. I don't think Bristol City will be able to take him from Coventry. I think Coventry fans can sleep easy for now, and Robins should be their manager in the Championship next season. So if Bristol City are unlikely to tempt Mark Robins from Coventry, they might have to go for a manager who is out of work, a manager who has declared his interest in the job already. Maybe Mick McCarthy. Perhaps he left the Ireland job this summer during the pandemic. We are all well aware of that, but he's become a bit of a joke in recent years, hasn't he, Mick McCarthy? The stir in the coffee, the pull in the funny face. He's become a bit of a meme. But what he's done in the Championship before has been impressive. He took Ipswich to the playoffs. 6th place he finished. They lost to Norwich, of course, which didn't go down well. But then the following season he finished 7th. That's an impressive achievement for an Ipswich side who now play in League One. Obviously, they took a different route. They moved away from Mick McCarthy. They got relegated. I'm not sure if they're regretting that now, but I think they'd be safe if he was still in charge. But he's not at all fashionable. I don't think Bristol City want a manager like him in charge, which is why I think Tony Pulis also isn't going to get the job. He obviously got sacked by Middlesbrough. He's got Premier League and Championship experience, but I don't think Bristol City will go for Pulis at this stage. I think he's a bit too direct, and I think he's a bit too unfashionable. As harsh as it may seem, I think McCarthy and Pulis are probably not going to get these jobs. So we move on to the wildcard pick, my wildcard pick that I've put together here, and it's Gareth Ainsworth at Wycombe, and a manager who deserves all the credit in the world this season. If you don't know, he's Wycombe manager. He plays a very direct style of football, which could be a negative for Bristol City, of course. But Wycombe were one of the favourites to go down in League One at the start of the season. He said he'd got it pinned up in the changing room that 442 predicted them to finish 23rd, and they finished in the playoffs. Well, the season was ended early. On points per game, they were in the playoffs. And that playoff first leg, sensational. It looks like they'll be at Wembley. They beat Fleetwood 4-1. It looks like his Wycombe side could be in the Championship next season. They're a couple of games away and that's it. And for a side with a tiny budget fighting well above their means, it just shows what a good manager Gareth Ainsworth is and what a good job he's done this season. It's been sensational from him. But as I've mentioned, it's very direct. There's no frills about this football. They get it in defence, they play it long. It's not always up to Akinfenwa, but it's often up to a target man. Set pieces, Joe Jacobson taking them, they're very dangerous from. So Bristol City fans, would you like Gareth Ainsworth in charge? He gets results on the pitch, but it's very direct. There's no passing football at all, really. So it's direct, it's long ball, it's up to a target man, and they play for set pieces. But it's difficult to deal with, I tell you that, as a fan of a League One club. You look at the results he's got this season, been remarkable. So I'd like to see Gareth Ainsworth given a go in the Championship, but maybe he'll get that chance at Wycombe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Would you like to see Gareth Ainsworth given a chance, or another manager perhaps? We've discussed Pulis a bit. Slavisa Jokanovic obviously is a star name in the Championship. Could you tempt him at Bristol City? There's other names as well. I'd like to throw in Paul Cook perhaps. You see the situation going on with Wigan at the moment. Could Paul Cook be tempted to stray away? Obviously he left Portsmouth in not too pleasant circumstances. Could he stray away from Wigan, and could you tempt him to Bristol City? Would you like that? Let me know in the comments. Give me one name you want to see at Bristol City as the manager next. Is it someone like Mick McCarthy? Is it Robins? Or is it just Chris Hughton because he's brilliant in the Championship? Let me know. I've enjoyed doing this video. I enjoy these manager videos very much. Let me know if you do too. Like and subscribe for more, and comment below who you want to be the next Bristol City manager. But for now, that's all from me, guys. I'll see you on the next one.